Sometimes in our life, we all have pangs.
The Mercy Charism is so alive in our Mercy Associates. I think I have been moved sometimes to tears by things I hear them doing, and especially in light of how they are Catherine in the world today, through their acts of kindness and mercy, their service, their love of the poor, their willingness to give themselves.
I'll help you carry on.
I volunteer at the home program over in Walnut Hills, and I work at the food pantry once a month, doing blood pressures for them and helping do little health assessments. So I've been a nurse since 1970, and what Mercy helps me keep centered with is the fact that in my ministry, it's not me, it's me taking the message of God's love to other people. And forget about yourself and let yourself be a tool and an instrument.
I work at a hospital that takes care of burn children, and so ministry for me at work is easy because we take care of kids that are seriously injured and in need. If we give the kids one gift here at the hospital, it's to send them out of here with that sense of worthiness, that regardless of what I look like and the trauma that I've been through, I really am worthy of the gifts that life has to give. And so for me, ministry at work is easy because that's what we do. And several years ago, I struck an interest in working with the poor, especially the homeless.
Being a Mercy Associate has made me more aware of who I am and why I'm doing these things, and listening to all the violence and things going on. It has brought me to a different level of understanding, of not being judgmental, to be able to see the person and not the crime right away, where before I was very judgmental, and there was always right and wrong, and now I find myself being more compassionate, and I've become more peaceful.
My life is so much different because it's helped me be more centered spiritually. It's helped me stay grounded and just being a part of the community, and not feeling like you're on this ministry or mission alone. That you have sisters and brothers that have a strong faith and believe in it. It's a lifestyle, not just something you do on Sunday or a couple of times a year.
When they asked me why do I want to be an associate, I said I want to become more spiritual, improve my prayer life, and well, it has immensely, but I'm not even the person today that I was back then, and I don't even know if I realized that there was a change going on until all of a sudden I realized that prayer doesn't make you spiritual. Your way of life is what your spirit, to me, is my spirituality. And I also sometimes can't believe that God called me to this, because I do have this handicap, which I am very, very self-conscious of, but I keep getting a feeling from God that this is where He wants me to be. And that is another way that I have changed. I would have argued with God all the way through, and yet I listen now. I don't feel like I always have to be in control. Some way, God has touched my heart, and I just kind of let Him lead me.
You hear the word calling, and I used to discount that, but I don't discount it anymore. I think you really do feel a calling, and sometimes it takes a while for it to materialize and to realize. But I felt a calling, and I don't know why. And little things along the way helped you confirm that calling.
I knew I needed more fulfillment in my spiritual life. I needed more meaning, and I started looking. And I have a very good friend who had already been an associate for a very long time, and she had been talking to me about association with the Mercy, and I said, she invited me again. It was probably the third time, and so I started the year of preparation, and it was a yearning. It was a calling, in a sense, that I needed something more than what was in my life now spiritually.
I know that I have grown spiritually being a part of the Sisters of Mercy, because it's broadened beyond my church, my family, but worldwide in the whole community. And I just think that prayer is so essential to your spiritual growth, and to help you stay focused and help direct your life, and to really find your purpose, where God wants you to be. If you don't pray about it, it won't happen. You won't hear His voice, or you won't know where you're going.
I can't emphasize how important I think prayer is. I don't think you can make it in this life without prayer.
Through my Mercy prayer book, I participate in prayer every morning and every evening by myself, but I know it's the same prayer that thousands of Mercies are praying across the world, and we're all in unity, offering our prayer to God and our praise to God.
To me, this book is community. It brings me to community because it stands for the power of prayer and for my way of thinking.
I used to take time to pray. I thought I had to sit down and pray for at least, and I had told them my covenant I would be an hour. Well, if I missed that hour, oh my gracious sakes alive, I thought, what have I done? But as I've become more and more into Mercy Association and the prayer and learning about Catherine McCauley, my whole day is now a prayer.
Prayer isn't just reading prayers from the book. It isn't just, words. Prayer is other forms. And I think that's what we have to come to in our sense of who we are as Mercy community. It's not just one way. There are other ways of being about mercy. There's other ways of allowing God to reshape us.
You've got to pay attention to your prayer life. And I think association helps bring that forward. I mean, we've all had prayer lives before we became associates, or we wouldn't be here. We've always had a deep spirituality to God, but it just goes deeper, and it's just something you feel down inside you, in your heart. You just know that life is different. One example, when I think a lot, is I was a pretty materialistic person. I would have liked to have had a big house. I love clothes, and I love all of that. And there were times when I'd say, God, how come one's got it and one don't? What have I done? I think I did everything right. Well, now through I'm sure it had to be association with the thinking and the praying. I'm not saying I still don't like material things, because I do, but it don't bother me if I don't have it.
I've always had a spiritual focus in my life, and that's not always the way the world works. And within Mercy, I have found that spiritual centeredness, and I feel a part. I feel like I have companions, and we're all walking together. And that gives me great support and great spiritual centeredness, and the ability to minister to God's people more effectively because of that.
And I think an associate for me is a chance to participate in the prayer life of the Sisters of Mercy, in the community life of the Sisters of Mercy, and in the mission of the Sisters of Mercy.
You don't have to be a Catholic to get a calling from God to do a mission or to pray. And we have Mercy Associates who aren't Catholics, but they're Mercy.
I came from a very traditional Baptist church who had moved very progressively to a non-denominational community environment, and get beyond race, beyond gender, and really start talking about ministries and making a difference in people's lives.
You know, I'm a man in a woman's organization, which is strange to begin with, and I'm associate with Professed Sisters, which is even stranger. And that sense of hospitality and welcome and warm and inclusion has always been there.
I'm excited because I think this is a wonderful possibility of mixing our cultures together and bringing them together as one. And so therefore I feel like we're going to blossom out in just, diversity everywhere.
Well, the multicultural face of Mercy, I hope that we could all be one, that a color of your skin doesn't make any difference. What language you speak doesn't make any difference. We all feel this. We all have the same feelings. We want to help the poor. We want to make it a better world. Peace and justice is so important. And right now in our world today, I really feel like that's part of us, the association too.
Catherine's charism is just what it's about, to be loving and incorporate and bring people in and be compassionate and listen to what all these different people have to give us. And we learn from them and they learn from us. And I think it's exciting. I think it's going to be real exciting to be open to all these possibilities that we're facing.
And it's not just my personal journey, it's our personal journey. And in associating with the Sisters of Mercy really has brought that community sense to my life, so that the journey with God really is a journey of us rather than a journey of me.
I think if Catherine McCulley would see what the Sisters of Mercy have grown and to see the diversity, I think she would be so pleased.
It's all the different pieces of clay, not just religious women living together. It's vowed religious. It's Mercy Association. It's the men and women connected with us there, and it's also the men and women who are giving their year of service as Mercy volunteers through Mercy Volunteer Corps. It's that willingness to give of themselves to help shape this new vessel.
And what I see is an already rich history becoming even larger and bigger. And I see that even though the numbers for the sisters are going to be reduced, I really see that the ministry and the work with the work of associates and other people, the whole idea of Catherine McCulley's vision and the work just continuing on.
And I honestly think right now that God has us on the potter's wheel. That somehow we are this lump of clay that has been prepared, that maybe has been shaped into something, but is at the point of saying, okay, this shape is good, but it could be better, and there's something else I want to do different. So this piece might have to go back into the pug mill for a while to be reshaped and redone so that the clay can once again be shaped into something new. And I just trust that's what God is doing with us, that God is creating something new with us, just as a potter sitting in a wheel can create.
The role of associates in a religious community is an evolution for sure. I think it's an evolution that is yet to play out. But I think that the fact that it always centers and always focuses on the reason why we are in Mercy, and that's in God and doing God's work, is what always seems to cause that success to occur.
I don't know what it's going to be, but I know something new is coming. And Mercy Association is a part of that.
We're welcome, they welcome us, and it's really a wonderful feeling. And I do believe, I've said it many times, that Catherine said, if it's God's work, it will go on. And as long as it's God's work, we will continue to grow.
Sometimes in our life, we all have pangs. We all have sorrows. But if we are wise, we always know, Lord, there is tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long. I'm going to need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Just call me.